When Trump was running for president, there was a brief moment where the media kept asking him about Project 2025. Because what happened is the Democrats learned about Project 2025 and they decided, oh, we need to talk about this. This is a devastating plan. It's basically like the far right's Bible and their roadmap on how to destroy the United States government. It's like their wish list of everything they would want. It was the amalgamation of the policy ideas of every right-wing think tank coming together and crafting this document. And so there's a lot of horrible stuff in there. So Trump's reaction to this, he understood this was a political loser for him and there's no way he was going to win on the merits. And so what he did is lied. Deny. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never heard of Project 2025. I don't even know what you mean. I have nothing to do with Project 2025. And then the other half of the time he would say, there's a lot of wacky things in there and I don't agree with them. Which is like, okay, which is it? Are there a lot of wacky things and you don't agree, or do you have no idea what it is? Right? It contradicts himself, but of course that's, Trump on a day that ends in Y. So, a lot of people fell for the head fake, including many in the media, that, wait, what are you talking about? He says he's got nothing to do with Project 2025. Stop bringing up Project 2025. Well, guess what? Spoiler alert, he does have a lot to do with Project 2025, and he's already implementing the agenda. So here we go. Look at this. Loyalty tests and MAGA checks inside the Trump White House's intense screening of job seekers. So they're implementing loyalty tests. Guess where that's from? You guessed it. Job seekers hoping to join the new Trump administration are facing a series of intense loyalty tests, with White House screening teams fanning out to government agencies to check for Make America Great Again bona fides and carefully parsing applicants' politics and social media posts. That's insane. They're going through their social media. President Trump has long said he believes the biggest mistake he made during his first term was hiring what he considered to be the wrong kinds of people. Now, aides are working aggressively to ensure the government is filled with only loyalists. Negative social media posts have been enough to derail applications. Those seeking jobs have been told they will have to prove their enthusiasm to enact Trump's agenda and have been asked when their moment of MAGA revelation occurred. This is literally like cult shit. This is cult shit. One federal employee said they briefly considered buying Trump's crypto meme coin in case the president's team asked about their voting record. Oh my God. I'll be scammed by the president if that means I can get a job as a bureaucrat. Sure. The intense screening has led some federal workers to question whether Trump's team cares more about loyalty than competence. Gee, I wonder what the answer to that is. There is concern that his team is ousting foreign policy and national security diplomats and others who could offer the administration expertise and institutional knowledge at a time of conflict around the world. So guys, here's what you need to understand. The core of Project 2025 is axing Schedule F. Schedule F is you have these bureaucrats in the government, like these civil servants in the government, who are basically totally apolitical, and they're there from administration to administration. They're the people who dot the I's and cross the T's and do the day-to-day grunt work of the government, right? These are career civil servants, career bureaucrats. These are not supposed to be hyper-partisan people with hyper-partisan beliefs and acting that way, right? And so Trump already decided, I'm gonna take a wrecking ball to Schedule F. He signed an order on that on literally day one. And so now the idea is, all of these apolitical civil servant bureaucrats, let's just get rid of all of them, destroy the administrative and regulatory state, and to the extent that we hire more people, make them all MAGA devotees. And that's already what's happening. Trump officials have made no secret of their intention to fill the administration with hires sharing the president's vision. They began checking potential staffers shortly after Trump launched his campaign and have continued since he won. An application form on the Trump Transition website, for instance, asks candidates what part of President Trump's campaign message is the most appealing to you and why. Jesus Christ. According to a link obtained by the AP, it also asks how they had supported Trump in the 2024 election, with choices including volunteering, fundraising, door knocking, and making phone calls, and to submit a list of their social media handles. Jesus Christ. So guys, this is, you know how the Republicans always say, why is the left politicizing this? Why are the Democrats politicizing that? Get politics out of here. This is politicizing explicitly government jobs that are supposed to not at all be political. quote, "We are interviewing every single one of these individuals. If you are working in the federal government in a political appointee position, that comes through the White House now. Jesus Christ." See, this is Project 2025. This is what it is. Trump, he said, has been very clear of who he doesn't want to include in his administration, and so those are clear guidelines that we adhere to, and we bring the best people possible into the White House and into every department across the land. No, what's going to happen is exactly what they pointed out, which is he cares more about loyalty than competence. And so they're going to be people who have no clue what the fuck they're doing, but they're loyal to Trump. Also, as we pointed out, they want the complete and utter destruction of the entire regulatory and administrative state. And that's what, effectively, they're going to get. Now, at the same time, I have to show you this. A time analysis has found that nearly 2/3 of the executive actions Trump has issued mirror or partially mirror proposals from Project 2025. The majority of his executive actions on day one are directly from the Project 2025 playbook. Guys, duh. This is, again, it's an I told you so moment. Because when you vote for somebody, you're not just voting for an individual. You are voting for an entire apparatus, a pre-existing apparatus. And it just so happens Trump is a Republican, and Trump is enmeshed in that world of right-wing think tanks, funded by the Koch brothers, funded by right-wing robber barons. They're the ones who give money to the Heritage Foundation. They're the ones who give money to the other right-wing think tanks that have existed for decades and decades. And this is the end result. You just picked an entire apparatus of billionaire-funded right-wing ideologues. This is who Trump staffed his administration from in the first term, and now he's doing that on steroids and human growth hormone because now even the apolitical bureaucratic positions are being axed, and he's bringing in the loyalists. Now, at the same time, again, directly from the Project 2025 playbook, you guys have all heard about this by now, but Trump fires inspectors general from more than a dozen federal agencies. So what are the inspectors general? They overlook the agencies and check for waste, fraud, and abuse and malfeasance. They're supposed to be independent, right? And they check for waste, fraud, abuse, and malfeasance at the various federal agencies. He comes in and he goes, "I'm axing every single one of them." Gee, I wonder why. It's the same day, by the way, he signed that executive order, which increased corruption in the executive branch, where he said, hey, bribes, lobbyist gigs, everybody in my cabinet, it's a free-for-all. You do whatever the fuck you want. So he increases the corruption level and then immediately goes, hey, the inspectors general, let's fire all of them so that they can't check for waste, fraud, and abuse and malfeasance. This is from CNN. President Trump fired the inspectors general for more than a dozen federal agencies in a Friday night purge, according to the Trump administration official, paving the way for him to install his own picks for the independent watchdog roles. Agency inspectors general received an email late Friday from Sergio Gore, the head of the White House Office of Presidential Personnel, informing them that changing priorities had led to their positions being terminated effective immediately, according to a person familiar with the matter. The shakeup affected a broad swath of the federal government, including the Department of State, Energy, the Interior, Defense, and Transportation. During Trump's first term, he gutted the administration of independent government watchdogs he saw as disloyal in IG conduct investigations and audits into any potential malfeasance, fraud, waste, or abuse by government agency or its personnel, and issues reports and recommendations on its findings. An Inspector General's office is intended to operate independently. Partly in reaction to Trump's last IG firings, Congress built new guardrails intended to protect them. A 2022 law requires the White House to provide substantive rationale for terminating any inspector general, so there has to be a reason to fire them. The firings have prompted concern for some GOP senators, including Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley of Iowa, a known watchdog for IGs, who said Congress wasn't given the 30 days notice from the White House required by federal law. So in other words, to break that down for you, it's federal law that was put into place partly because Trump was acting up in the first term. They passed a law that says you have to give Congress 30 days notice if you're going to get rid of the inspectors general. But also, you need to have a reason to fire the inspectors general. You have to provide that reason. He didn't provide a reason, and he didn't give the 30 days notice. So he's in violation of federal law, right? Now, again, guys, this is a big test. This is a big test. Because are we going to live in a world where Trump is effectively an emperor, overlord, god, king, tyrant, dictator? Or are we going to live in a world where he's held accountable in some semblance, to some extent, right? We're going to find out very quickly. We're going to find out very quickly because they could basically reject this, right? And to be fair, I think that is what the inspectors general have done. They sent a letter back saying we're not going anywhere, right? They could reject this or they can fold. And of course, the Republican Party apparatus is likely to circle the wagons and defend Trump, even though he's clearly violating federal law, right? But then what's going to happen? Are the courts going to step in? And then is Trump going to listen to what the courts say? Again, this is a test. What's the next 4 years going to be like? Can he do literally anything and everything that he wants to do, even when it obviously violates the plain-faced reading of the law? Or are there going to be some rules, some regulations, some restrictions that even he can't circumvent? That's the question. Trump said Saturday night that I did it because it's a very common thing to do, telling reporters aboard Air Force One that not all of them were removed, talking about the inspector general. He added, without providing evidence, I don't know them, but some people thought that some were unfair or were not doing the job. It's a very standard thing to do. According to a report from the Congressional Research Service, practice has disfavored removal of IGs during presidential transitions, after President Ronald Reagan removed all inspector general in a controversial move following his 1981 inauguration. Since 1981, IGs have remained in their positions during each presidential transition. The Washington Post was first to report on the Trump administration's firings. The chair of the Council of the Inspector General on Integrity and Efficiency said in his statement Saturday that the law regarding removing inspectors general must be followed. IGs are not immune from removal. However, the law must be followed to protect independent government oversight for America. There you have it. They sent a letter saying, we're not going anywhere. Trump was like, oh, yes, you are. You're going somewhere. Federal law is very clear. You need 30 days notice and a reason why they're being fired. And he's going to be unable to provide that. He's going to be unable to provide that because the reason he's getting rid of them is because he wants waste, fraud, and abuse and malfeasance at the government agencies. He wants to shake down the government. This is MAGA. This is the plan. This is what Trump's already done. That's what he wants to do. Him and his little loyalist, his gaggle of loyalist pirates. And so here we are. Here we are. Project 2025 is already in full effect. It's in full swing. And they're implementing various different parts of it. They will continue to implement other parts of it. And week one, man. Week one. And there's already been about 48 I told you so moments. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.